Alright, well, let's see if we get any Vitruvian. We do! Let's give Sajj a try. Hey, Atheist Mantis, thanks for joining. Sandstorm Reader, that's an exciting start. Along with some garbage. Rescue RX, Skyrock Golem, Fire Spitter. This is pretty interesting actually. So Rescue RX is a reasonably good 2-drop. It survives a lot, it heals you, which is good, especially for Sajj because we need the healing. It body blocks pretty well, and like if they do manage to kill it, it still gained you 10 life or protected something else, so that's not terrible, like that's still often worth the card. Fire Spitter is a ranged unit, obviously those are broken. Can it... It's not one of the best ones, it's quite fragile, it dies quite easily. I think I'm leaning towards Rescue RX because I do want to be able to use my BBS for aggressive trading, like if I can kill something and then get 5 life back and a 2/4, you know, gone up a card there. Skyrock? You're joking, right? Yeah, I don't want to pick that. The 2 health on Skyrock for like no payoff is not something I want. Ideally, I'd like to have basically 0 X2s in my deck. Buildings don't take mana tiles. I don't really mind about that. Like, the problem with Skyrock Golem is you get to play a 4-drop, but then what? Like, a lot of drafts I come across these days don't even have a ton of 4-drops in them. Like, the previous one was an anomaly. Most of the drafts I've been doing, I've ended up with, like, about 3 4-drops, because, I don't know, they've changed the mana curves a bit or something. Like, as more cards have come out, the overall distribution has shifted slightly. It is annoying not being able to take tiles going first with Rescue RX, but it's also really good when you go second. You put one of these in the center, and you just own the map. And it's much more useful later on. So I think I prefer this. I was thinking it would be nice for Gauntlet to have a sideboard kind of, like a way to take out a handful of really terrible cards. I would like that. I wanted that in Arena and in Hearthstone for a long time. Arena needs it more, I think. Like in Duelyst, you can still make use of your bad cards because you can replace them, or you can, you know, play them just as body block, play them for curve so you can test tiles. Like, random units do a bit more in this game than they do in Hearthstone. But yeah, it would still be nice to have like a couple of cards that you can cut at the end. Bloodbound Mentor, that's exciting. Dreamgazer as a summoning, those are not exciting. Snap that off. Sajj isn't the most BBS person, but at least unlike Elena, she can still cast it. Oh wow, this is good. Holy moly. Pyromancer and First Wish. I mean, Pyromancer is a priority pick. This card is really good. It wins games. It's a 2-drop ranged unit, basically. It does die to Blood Tear, which sucks. But if they don't have the Blood Tear, and Blood Tear is just 1 card now, you know, in God knows how many cards are in this game, Pyro is taken off. I think I like that over First Wish. And I definitely like it over Dust Drinker, which is an okay card, but you know, it's mostly useful because it's a Dervish and it costs 2. This is great. We've got 4 top tier picks already. Here it falls off a bit. I think Rash's Curse is here. I mean, Mirage Master's funny, like maybe you get a 4 mana Storm Metal Golem, but like you could also just play your own Storm Metal Golem. And in the meantime, it doesn't do a lot. It's nice if they buff a ranged unit, but they also get to attack with theirs first. Funnily enough, like I really like clones in Magic, but I've not really been impressed with Mirage Master in Duelyst. Rasha is nice and reliable IMO. I wouldn't say it's that reliable, but it's good, and it kills Veil Hunter, which is a big deal. Plus, like, people will occasionally have an artifact. Like, just having some removal that works at a distance is great. Oh my god, there's a Scorn. More top tier picks here. Siphon is not where it used to be, and Whistling Blade is bad, so in we go. Like, this is kind of a constructed deck. A bad one, but a constructed deck. Oh! Top tier picks again! This is actually difficult. Fireblaze Obelisk is obviously the best Obelisk. Except, I mean maybe Ethereal because you can play it on turn 1, but Fireblaze does broken things the most. Obviously combos with your other dervishes, combos with other obelisks, is great. Grincher is one of my favourite cards, especially for Sajj, who can make better use of the artifacts in general, like getting a random wildfire rank or obdurator or what's the range thing? Cyclone Mask on Sajj is rude as hell. And worst comes to worst, it just drew you a card. It's actually really difficult. I think the obelisk might be the pick because it's cheaper, but I don't know if that's much of a tiebreaker. Like, especially as we are not... Whoa. Thanks, game. We're not going to struggle to, like, reach the mid-game with this start. You know, if this continues, we're going to be just fine. So I think I might actually play the Grincher. Fireblaze OP. Fireblaze is pretty good. I've won so many games of draft with this Grincher though. Like, sometimes it wins you the game because it's a 5/4 that drew a card, and you just up on resources because they have to trade. But other times, like, you just RNG into something real stupid, and you roll your opponent. There are so many really powerful artifacts that, like, kind of suck, but if they cost 2 less, they're amazing, obviously. Or 3 less, or whatever the hell it is. 3 less, yeah. Yeah, so you can get like a 0 mana Cyclone Mask and just be like, whoops. Yeah, actually, I'm going to pick Grincher. I really like Grincher, especially for Sajj. Well, this is an easy Songweaver, I think. We can do the infinite with Sandswell and Orbrider, right? 7 mana, make a sand tile, trigger all your other sand tiles. We can pick up Grincher, we can pick up Scorn. You know, this Orbrider doesn't look horrible, does it? Pick up Rescue RX if we want. It's kind of funny. Fireblaze is always good, a 3-drop which needs an answer. It is that. Although, I have a preference for... In Gauntlet, I really like being able to just play my stuff in the middle of the board so it can attack. It's like, Fireblaze is great, but you have to play it kind of defensively because it's quite easy to remove if your opponent just walks over to it. And so sometimes you can defend your obelisks. Like, if you have 2 obelisks, you know, one of them's going to stick and your opponent's just going to be really sad. You can play 2 of them defensively and they're kind of forced away from you. If I was playing Xerix, I'd have picked the Fireblaze. Like, I think that's an easy tiebreaker. But because I'm playing Sajj, she works really well with Grincher specifically. Yeah, I think Songweaver's the pick here, and I don't think it's that close, especially as we have a Pyromancer, but I might, if there's a worse card than an Orbrider later on, I might actually pick up Orbrider, because it works with surprising amounts of our stuff. Rejuvenator, Windrunner, Dustwailer. Do you know, I've been really unimpressed with Windrunner lately. Like, the card can just run away with games, but I've just never done it. It dies, or I'm not in a position where I just want to play a 3/3 and back off. I don't know, maybe I put too much stock into, like, taking the board, but, you know, if you back off and play this and then they just kill it, you're so much further behind than if you just played a 3-drop that was bigger, or 2/2s, or a 4-drop, or whatever. It's good on turn 1, but after that, I'm not keen on it. And even when I do that, like, often I want to take a tile and then play something, or I want to play my minion somewhere else. Like, the constraint is actually quite significant. Whereas Dustwailer is awesome. I love Dustwailer. You have to go to bed? Oh, sleep well. See you soon. Thanks for the suggestions on Discord earlier, by the way. The Zesty or whatever you were talking about, the thing, the Twitch integration thing. I'll need to set that up. That sounds great. There is also an argument for Rejuvenator here out of a weaker pack because 4 health is valuable for Sajj. I think this is Dustwailer. It is expensive, and Windrunner is not. But I like Songweaver so much more than Windrunner, generally speaking. Yeah, we'll pick Dustwailer. Just keep on that removal plan. Wind Strike, Science Second Wish, and Blind Scorch. So Second Wish goes well with Pyromancer, it goes well with obviously random creatures that can push face, goes well with Sandswell Reader because it makes a supply of bodies. Wind Strike fits into what our deck seems to be doing, which is making value plays. So it is a 2-for-1, it can chase down ranged units, it can make trades across the map. The flip side being it is kind of small and does force you to play a bit defensively. Like, you get value if they kill it, which is good. It's not completely cold to a Phoenix Fire, but you did spend 4 mana and they spent 2 and you probably backed off. And not affected the board in the meantime, so it is punishable. Second Wish is like really broken when it works and really bad when it doesn't, so I usually like having plenty of card advantage to go alongside it. We have a Pyromancer, we have a Mentor, we have Sajj's BBS, we have Scorn, Reader, Grimshin, Dustwell. So we're actually already looking at like a large amount of minions that have the potential to get significant value. So the Second Wish might be worth it because what none of these minions we have so far do well is like repeatedly push face. The Pyromancer only deals 2 and it dies, and having some pumps for the Pyro is good. Yeah, I think we can Second Wish here. It also means we can play Blistering Scorn with the Pyromancer out. I don't know, here I'm slamming this Obelisk. I like both these cards a lot, especially First Wish. First Wish is bonkers, but being able to play an Obelisk going first is awesome. And being able to play 2-drop plus other Obelisk, or squeeze an Obelisk into another turn later is very strong. I mean, to be fair, like, if there's a card that's only slightly worse than Grincher in that pack, I do just take the Fireblaze. Some very interesting decisions here, actually, because I think you can still make some pretty good arguments for this First Wish. Like, we have a Pyromancer, and First Wish is awesome. It's a fantastic card. Helps you spend your mana, helps you draw through your deck to get you good cards. Obviously helps you make trades, helps you dominate the board, helps you make use of mana tiles. But I think I'm picking this Obelisk. It just gives you so much board space because your opponent has to respect it. We finally got some bad cards. Would you look at that? I think the highest minion health we have so far is like 4. I guess it combos with Blistering Scorn. And we have an Obelisk, I guess. But I'm not very impressed by this. Obviously that's garbage. I guess this is just Marauder. I mean, it's fine if they, you know, kill all our stuff and then we untap, play this. Better than nothing. First Sword of a Crane, Dagger-Kiri as a Herald. These are both pretty replacement level. Kiri is good with synergy, and we do have a Second Wish. First Sword is kind of bad. Marauder is risky. Yeah, Marauder is very risky. The good news is that you can replace it when it doesn't work. The bad news is that you have to replace it when it doesn't work. And it also, like, once you've played it, you then have awkward decisions to make the following turn about whether you play more creatures. And it's really, really bad with Obelisks. Because they make small minions and the minions die a lot if they are doing anything. Yeah, but I think over these two like expensive replacement level cards, I'm picking the 2-drop that heals me, provides 2 things I want in this deck. Young Flamewing, Firespitter, Ephemeral Shroud. Flamewing's good, but I'm not like that high on it. Again, I like 4-drops that you can just plonk in the middle of the board and say, deal with this. And although flying and ranged minions kind of do that without actually having to be in the center, they are more vulnerable to removal, giving your opponent a tempo play. I do like that Flamewing has 4 health, meaning it survives Phoenix Fire, Tempest, Dancing Blades, and all sorts of stuff, so it's a pretty good card. It might still be the pick here, to be honest. I don't hate Firespitter, and I think Ephemeral Shroud is okay. It's only really good against like Obelisks and Varth and a few other things. Like, usually when you use it to pop Force Field or provoke off something, you're just like, oh, I'm going down a card for no good reason. Yeah, I think we'll go for the Flame Wing. Third Wish. We do not have the Dervishes for that. Oblivion Sickle. This card can be very, very powerful. I think most of the time it's probably not very good. Ranged OP. Yeah, kind of. 3-2 ranged for 4 is like borderline. I've played Fire Spitters before, and usually in vet decks, and they're fine, but yeah, Sickle is okay. I would experiment with it, but Ruby Rifter is awesome, and we know she's awesome. I've played this card a lot, and she's good every single time. Wow, more strong picks. So Bone Swarm helps against Reva. It's good for early. Let me try that again. It helps against Reva and Lilith. It's good for early trades. It kills Veil Hunter sometimes. Science First Wish. I've mentioned that we all we want this card. Like the things it does to the smoothness of your deck and your mana efficiency are significant. The Pyromancer synergy is there, obviously. Then we have a Cosmic Flash, which is definitely a tier below these cards. I think the First Wish is the more flexible pick and probably the more valuable. We have multiple flying units, which it also goes well with, because they're kind of small. That really likes AoE. It is true. I have a Blistering Scorn already though, so I'm not too worried. Like, that's so much better than Bone Swarm in most situations. I have a Dust Whaler too, so we're not actually too worried about that right now. So I think I can afford to pick this First Wish, even on that basis. Snap off that Obelisk, get in the deck. Alright. Wings of Mechazor, Sunseer, Woodroom. These are bad. These are bad. Which one is the least bad? So Sunseer provides some healing. Annoyingly, the amount of health it provides doesn't scale with its power, so buffing it with any of our 3 buff effects doesn't do anything. Just makes it tankier, which is fine. Like a 3/5 that heals you is a good card. You know, it does a Purgatos impression once it's first wished, or maybe second wished even. But I think I'm going to pick Wings of Mechazor, just for the plays where you drop it in front of your opponent and annoy them. And then take their mana tile. Impervious Giago, Imperial Mechanist, Thunderclap. Thunderclap is a fun one, but I don't think it's that good. We don't have any, apart from Grincher, we don't have any ways of increasing Sajj's power yet. So the Thunderclap is looking a bit more situational. It's still a strong card, but I don't think I want to pick it over the Giago, which is like one of the most reliable cards you can get. Like a high health provoke that's hard to attack and just gums up the board for turn after turn after turn. Like this thing never fails, you know? Unless they have Night Sorrow Assassin. I did that to someone once, it was great. The Mechanist isn't terrible either. Like a 2/5 for 3 isn't an embarrassing body. We only have a Grincher so far, but like if a good artifact shows up, or a medium artifact in a weak pack, like if these cards were bad and you know pick Thunderclap here, then there's nothing embarrassing here. But these cards are both just a tier below the Giago. Giago is just so good. Jaxi and Tropic Decay Dryborn Golem. So Jaxi is great because it's a ranged unit and it's also a 2-drop. We're not lacking in 2-drops right now. We're also not really lacking in top end because we have this Ruby Rifter. What we are lacking in is hard removal, and I wouldn't mind having some. Entropic Decay is not good hard removal, but it is still hard removal to an extent, in that it will kill arbitrarily large things. I think that makes it worth the pick here. I think it's close. Like I think these two are close together, and the Dryborn isn't a terrible pick, but I think Decay is what we need the most right now. Yes, I'll take a second Scorn. Thank you very much. Oh boy. A Cumulonimbus, which will make 2 Wind Dervishes. Dream Shaper, which will draw no cards. Which leaves us with Astral Flood, which will give us Battle Pets. Well then. I mean, this is okay if it gets, like, the Dex is pretty good. The Force Field one is surprisingly good. But mostly you just replace them forever. So it very badly draws some cards, which is still kind of okay. I think it's better than the other two. Pantheran. We are not going to draft the Scion's Third Wish if we see one, so I'm not too worried about that. As a summoning, we have no flyers and Mirage Master. So basically, does this deck want Storm Metal Golem? Because it might. This card's fine. It's Storm Metal Golem but looks cooler. Or do we want to take a punt on Mirage Master and just see if we can get it to do something? Because, you know, there's always the potential for memes. It can turn into ranged units, it can turn into blue conjurers or other powerful things to help us catch up a little bit. If they play a Giago or an Ironcliff Guardian, we can follow up by playing one too. We don't have any great ways of like breaking the symmetry. We don't have a Repulsor Beast or something like late game. Mirage Master plus Entropic Decay on a big thing is good. Maybe that's good enough. Mid game Mirage Master BBS to like copy their 4-drop and then kill it isn't bad. And I guess plays like that would let us break serve a bit. You know what, let's give it a try. The rest of the deck's already pretty good, so we can afford to take a couple of niche cards and just see how they work out. Speaking of pretty good, I do like Primus Fist. It's good with Pyromancer, it's good with Ethereal Obelisk, it's good with Wings of Mechazor, it's good with Giago, kind of, Dust Whaler, kind of. But Saberspine Alpha is good. This card is hard hitting and ready to roar. We are a bit low on early plays, but I think we can. We've got 7 picks left. I think we can pick up another 1 or 2 and 3 drops in the meantime. So we can just take this big ass finisher. Bloodshot Golem, Young Flamewing, Blind Scorch. Bloodshot Golem is really underwhelming. Like, that's definitely a if you absolutely must pick, whereas Flamewing is pretty fine. We'll take that. Oh, now we're talking. Void Hunter and Wild Tar. Wild Tar is the better card, I think. I really like Void Hunter. When you actually manage to get a value trade with it, it feels great. But Wild Tar is so powerful. And will buy us a lot of space, which is important because Sajj needs to not take too much damage too quickly. And this is mostly a late game deck. We don't have that much card advantage, but we do have quite a bit. I think the Tar's ability to be a wall will help a lot. Rocket Up Terror, that's ideal here. We want to get rid of Heartseekers and eggs and stuff. That's the 3rd Dust Drinker we've seen. We could have had a really bad combo deck. And there's Dreadflare, which is fine. Nowhere near as good as the Rock. I'll pick it here though. Equality Constraint. Any minion's health becomes equal to its attack. So it kills walls, it kills eggs, it kills obelisks, it kills impervious Giagos. It is... Do we have anything that it's good with? Not really, apart from like healing a Capricious Marauder. Ruby Rifter, I guess. Can heal that. Wild Tar, if it gets really big. That's funny as hell. You put the Wild Tar somewhere safe-ish. They make attacks. This becomes like 8 power. And then you equality constraint it, and now it's a 2/8. And then they dispel it, and you lose the game. Because you put all your eggs in one basket. It's probably... How many 3-drops are we looking at right now? We've got 4. And 6 2s. I'll just pick this for curve. Dang it. That's a better one. Oh, I'm happy to pick up Riftwalker though. We'll just have Blistering Storms forever. It's offered me like 3 or 4 souls now. That's absurd. Ooh, Stars Fury, Windstriker. Both very, very good cards. Windstriker is actually absurd, so I think I might pick this one. Like, Stars Fury has a very high ceiling, although we don't have any direct synergy with it. Other than, like, First Wish. Obviously I didn't pick that Fireblaze Obelisk. Excuse me. It can sometimes just wreck people. But Windstriker is such a good mid-game card. The 1/4 Flying Body is fine, it carries buffs very well, helps chase down Heartseekers and eggs. And allowing Sajj to attack for 8 on a minion is really good. Too slow. That's alright, we picked the Dreadfire anyway. It's all good. So we're going to snap this off. And that's it. Good to go. So we have... This started out really strong. I'm a little unconvinced by it at this point. This is a mostly controlling Sajj deck, which can be a bit risky because she likes to trade with her face. And we don't have that much healing. We have like two cheap healers, and that's it. We also have a couple of cards that ping ourselves. But on the flip side, we do have, I think, stacked across all of this, we do have some decent amount of card advantage, like Windstriker, Samsel Reader, Grincher, even Giago in a way, Duelyst, Rifter, Saberspine Alpha. Over here we have the Scorn, the Flamewings are quite good at it, Rockodoptera is good at it, Songweaver and Wildtar can, Mentor's good, and the Obelisk's good, and the Pyromancer. So a lot of these cards can get value, and hopefully we can accrue enough of that to overpower our opponents. We are lacking in good hard removal, which is a problem for a controlling deck, so we're mostly going to want to play aggressively, get up there, push forward. We have enough answers to eggs and Heartseekers that we're not too afraid of those, which is good. We only have the one ranged unit in the end. I'm not sure. Like, in retrospect, I would have liked to pick a 3/2 ranged, but